Helios Flight 522, the plane that flew without a pilot. On August 14, 2005, a Boeing 737 took off from Cyprus and never responded again. No distress call, no mayday, no hijacking message. Instead, air traffic controllers watched in silence as the plane climbed to cruising altitude, flew on autopilot for hours, and slowly ran out of fuel with no conscious pilot at the controls. This is the chilling story of Helios Airways Flight 522, one of the most haunting incidents in aviation history. Section 1. The flight Helios Airways Flight 522 was a routine passenger flight from Larnaca, Cyprus, to Prague, with a scheduled stop in Athens, Greece. On board were 115 passengers, 6 crew members, mostly families returning from vacation. The aircraft was a Boeing 737-300, considered reliable and widely used across the world. Nothing about this flight suggested danger. But within minutes of takeoff, something subtle and deadly began to unfold. Section 2. A small switch with huge consequences. The night before the flight, maintenance crews had inspected the aircraft for an air conditioning issue. During this process, a critical system, the pressurization mode selector, was left set to manual instead of auto. In auto mode, the aircraft automatically regulates cabin pressure. In manual mode, the pilots must control it themselves. This switch, no bigger than a coin, would decide the fate of everyone on board. Section 3. The warning that no one understood. Shortly after takeoff, an alarm sounded in the cockpit. The same alarm tone is used for cabin altitude warnings, takeoff configuration warnings. The pilots believed it was a takeoff configuration issue. They contacted ground engineers. The engineer, unaware of the pressurization setting, suggested checking cooling systems and circuit breakers. No one realized the cabin was losing pressure. As the aircraft climbed higher, oxygen levels dropped silently. Section 4. Hypoxia. The invisible killer. At high altitudes, lack of oxygen causes hypoxia. Symptoms include confusion, impaired judgment, tunnel vision, loss of consciousness. The most terrifying part? You don't realize it's happening. Investigators believe the pilots were already impaired while trying to troubleshoot the alarm. Within minutes, both pilots likely lost consciousness. The plane kept climbing. Section 5. Silence over Greece. Flight 522 reached 4,000 feet its cruising altitude. Air traffic control in Athens attempted contact. No response. Greek Air Force fighter jets were scrambled. What they saw was chilling. Through the cockpit window, the captain slumped over his seat. The first officer was motionless. Oxygen masks hung inside the cabin. Passengers were unconscious. The plane was flying itself. Section 6. The mysterious man in the cockpit. Then something unexpected. One fighter pilot reported seeing a person enter the cockpit. It was Andreas Prodromo, a flight attendant trained as a pilot. He had used a portable oxygen bottle to stay conscious. He tried to regain control, but he lacked full cockpit access and had limited time. The engines began shutting down as fuel ran out. He made a final attempt. It wasn't enough. Section 7. The crash. At 12:04 p.m. local time, Flight 522 crashed into a hillside near Gramatiko, Greece. There were no survivors. All 121 people on board were lost. The aircraft struck the ground at high speed, ending a flight that had been doomed long before impact. Section 8. The investigation. Investigators concluded the pressurization system was left in manual. The warning alarm was misunderstood. Crew training and design flaws played a role. The alarm system used identical sounds for different emergencies. Helios Airways faced lawsuits and ceased operations soon after. Aviation rules worldwide were changed. Section 9. Why this still matters. Flight 522 wasn't caused by weather, or terrorism, or mechanical failure alone. It was caused by human error, system design, miscommunication, and a silent physiological threat. Today, pilots train extensively for hypoxia. Warning systems have been redesigned. This tragedy reshaped aviation safety. Closing Helios Airways Flight 522 reminds us that sometimes the most dangerous failures are the quiet ones. No explosion, no warning, just a slow loss of awareness. A plane flying perfectly, with no one truly awake. Stay curious, Curious Corner.